everybody! So today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a Unity 2D animation tutorial for the studio. This is Amber, by the way. First, I'll be showing you how to format your sprites in Illustrator, and then I'll be importing it into Unity and showing you how to rig that and animate it. I won't be covering anything too advanced, so yeah, let's get right into it. Some of y'all might know this character as Hatsune Miku. I just needed a pretty popular reference to someone I could draw. So here we go. Let's start spriting her. We're going to be doing a 3/4 sprite because that is the perspective of our game this semester. One of the big things I want you to note here is the fact that I'm doing her full face first, even though you won't be seeing all of it. What I want you to do is, when you're modeling a character like this, think about the moving parts. Say, what if one of her bangs moved, you know? You need to have some of the face still there so that it doesn't look super jarring when you move it away. So I'm going to model the entire face to prevent that from happening. Now that I've finished the face, I'm going to be doing the pigtails on a separate layer, so they will be easier to animate on their own. Okay, now I'm going to be moving on to the body, which will also be on a separate layer. When I say body, I'm not including limbs such as the arms and the legs, because those will be moving parts that we want to keep on separate layers. I'm only going to be modeling her torso here, her shirt and her dress. I'm going to put her tie on a separate layer as well. Alright, now that I've finished with her main body, I'm going to move on to her arms and legs. Those will also be on separate layers, one for arms and one for legs. The position I'm putting her in is very neutral. Okay, now that I've finished all the parts of Miku, I'm going to start cleaning up this file. Just watch what I do. Essentially, I'm just going to delete this Miku reference picture and move her up so that she covers the entire canvas. And now I'm going to save this entire canvas as a PSD file. So note that I click the File, Export As button. I don't think you can actually see this, but click File, Export As, and then on the drop-down menu, make sure that you click PSD, Photoshop file, and I will be back for a second part of this video in Photoshop. Alright, hi again everyone. So I've moved my exported PSD file into Photoshop, and what I want to put your attention to is this layer list right here. So what you get will probably look a little bit different. I had to do a little bit of cleaning up here, but essentially what it looks like when you open this is that you'll have like a folder here named after your Illustrator layer, and it would have your separate shapes within that folder. What you'll do is go into each folder, shift click to select all the contents of the folder, then right click and select merge layers, and those will turn all those layers into one, and then drag the layer out of the folder and then go ahead and delete the folder. And just do that, clean up your file a little bit. It shouldn't take that long. Okay, so once you're finished with that, what you'll do is press File, Save As right here, And then go into this drop-down list and search PSB, large document format. And then you'll go ahead and press save. Okay, so once you're done with Photoshop, move into Unity. What you'll need to install yourself is go into the package manager and then go to advanced, show preview packages, and it's gonna take a long time to load these, so wait for this little thing to load. So now that it's loaded, you're going to go through and you'll see this package first. It's called 2D animation. This is a package we need to animate our models. So open it up and there should be an install button right there. So go ahead and press it. It can take a long time to download, so just be patient. And once it's done, you're going to go into this package view again and you're going to search PSD. And you'll find the 2D PSD importer package. And this is also something you want to install. So go ahead and click that install button down here again. I've already done this, so I can't show you the process, but it's very straightforward. So once you're done with that, go ahead and close the package manager and navigate to your PSB file. Now go ahead and drag the PSB file into this little part right here where you'll see some folders. Drag it in there. So now you've dragged your PSB file into this project folder. A brief overview of what Unity looks like. Mine probably looks a lot different than yours. That's just because if you go into this top right corner here, layout, there are lots of ones you can choose from. They all change how yours look like. So if you look here, you'll see scene mode. This is where you'll be editing objects in the game. Then you'll have game mode right here, which is what the game will look like once it's built. And then you have your hierarchy right here, where you'll see all the objects in your scene. Right now we only have a camera, which is normal when you first start a Unity project. And on here we have our inspector, which is where you can edit objects of your scene. Here you have your project view, which is all the files that are inside your project. Okay, so now notice that I have Miku dragged into the project folder. So I'm going to go ahead and click on her, and I'm going to go to the inspector. See this sprite editor? We're going to click on it. Alright, you'll see all our different layers separated from each other. She really doesn't look that healthy here. So we'll go to this upper left corner, and we'll press Skinning Editor. There we go. So this is where we'll be rigging Miku. You're going to want to create bones, so go ahead and press this button here. We're going to create a bone for her lower body right here. Click and drag to create a bone, and then right click when you're done with it. And I'm going to click on this and press delete because I just made that to show you. So we have her lower body here. I'm going to name this body underscore lower. Now I'm going to create an upper body one right here. And you'll notice that when you click down again, another bone will form at the bone's end. This is how you can attach bones. So I'm going to create her head bone right here. And I'm going to right click to finish that. So I'm just going to name her head bone head. I'm going to name her upper body bone body upper. So I'm going to right click. And now I'm going to put some bones in her pigtails just so that they move. So I'm going to start here. 1, 2, 3. The more bones something has, the more easily it can move. So if you want something to look really fluid, give it more bones. So I'm going to do this again on the right side. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and name these bones. This is pigtail underscore left underscore upper. And this is our left, not Miku's left. So I'm going to go pigtail underscore middle left. And then you're just going to go through and do that for all these bones. Okay, I've done her pigtails. Now I'm going to move on to doing her arms. So I'm going to give each arm 2 bones. Now that I'm done with her arms, I'm going to move on to her legs, 2 bones each, and then we'll be finished creating bones. Actually, I'm going to give each leg 3 bones each, just so that the foot can have a bone as well. Okay, now that all our bones are created, we're going to toggle the parenting of these bones, which is essentially controlling which bones move with one another. So I'm going to go up here and press the visibility button, and now you'll see all the bones that we've created. Now some of these have already been correctly parented because we connected them to each other while we were making the bones, but a lot of these need to be adjusted. So I'm going to go ahead and say that our leg should move with the lower bone of the body. That just makes sense. So I'm going to drag the leg upper left into body lower and leg upper right into body lower. And you'll see that all the other bones in leg were parented correctly because we created them together. So that's that. Body upper contains the head bone, and the head bone should also move the pigtail bones. There we go. The arms should move with body upper, so I'm going to go ahead and drag them in. So now we've finished parenting all our bones, and they should move together properly. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to go to preview pose and move one of these bones. See how the pigtail bones move together? And see how the head bone moves the pigtail bones? When you're done playing around with everything, go ahead and press reset pose up here. So you'll notice that the bones don't actually move anything on Miku. That's because we haven't attached anything on Miku to the bones. So go ahead and go to this geometry box and press auto geometry. And this will do a very quick generation of weights for each bone. These probably will not be accurate, so let's go ahead and preview pose and see what happens. This actually turns out okay. What about this? That turned out okay. That turned out okay. That turned out okay. Oh snap, did everything turn out okay? Okay, something's a little wonky here, you'll see. Why does the bone move the shirt? So what we'll do to fix this is go to reset pose. Now we'll double click on this. This is one of the layers we made in Illustrator. And we'll go to, let's see, bone influence under weights. And we'll see all the bones that can control this mesh. Head should not control this because the head is right here, right? So we can press this minus button after selecting it. Okay? And the legs should not be able to control this either. So what we'll do is minus the legs as well. Now let's see what happens when we preview pose. Hey, it works well now. So let's see what other issues we run into. Maybe we'll get lucky and we won't run into anything else. Usually though, this can be a pretty grueling process, so be prepared for that. Go ahead and do some really strange, unnatural poses. Okay, looks good. So once you're done with this, reset pose and press apply. Okay, now that we're applied, go ahead and exit out of the sprite editor. Now our Miku is rigged and we can drag this asset into the project. And now you'll see she's both in our scene and in our game. Because she's kind of cut off by the camera here, what I'm going to do is move her down a little bit. There we go. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for our purposes. Now we can begin animating Miku. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on her game object right here. And I am going to add a component called the animator. Now every object that will be animated in-game should have an animator component. So now that we have an animator, let's go ahead and begin animating. So click on the animation tab. If you don't have this, go to Window, Window, Animation, Animation, and also open the Animator tab. I already have it opened right here. Go to our Animation tab and go ahead and press Create for the animation clip. I'm going to call this animation Walk. You'll get this sort of screen. It's a timeline. What we're going to do now is very simple, but a little bit tedious. So press this red recording button. Now we're going to start animating her walking. And this red recording button will make it so that everything we do is locked to a keyframe. And you can drag this white bar around, and this will lock keyframes at different points in time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create her initial pose for walking. Now, there isn't much more technically that I need to explain. It's just learn the principles of animation and do your best. So I'm going to go ahead and speed run this animation. Feel free to watch and let me know if you have any questions about what I do. Here's what my final animation looks like. Obviously it's really rough around the edges. This wasn't meant to be a perfect asset or anything, but just a demonstration of the basics of animation. I'm actually going to do a bit of overshoot on her hair here. There we go. And here's what it looks like. Now Miku is walking. So I'm going to navigate over to the animator and sort of give a brief introduction to what this means. So, entry indicates when the object is first instantiated. That means Miku. So once we press play, entry will transition into our walk animation, and if we look at our walk animation by clicking on it in the project view, or in the projects folder, we see that it has loop time checked, so it will loop when it plays. That means that this animator means that once Miku is instantiated into the scene, when we press play, she will stay walking. So let's try it. And there we go. She's walking. Hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. And also let me know if you have any questions.